Well, I'll do a complete version of this first one, and then we'll give you the general idea of the other two. But your vertex, remember, is H and K. And H and K can be identified by looking at the inside the parentheses as the H and outside the parentheses. The H changed the sign, so that's a -1. And this right here is a +6. And I would say to get points, there's your -1 and your +6. You're going to go below and above that. So -2, -3, and then 0 and 1. Now, we're going to plot that point, -1 and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you know anything about the stair-step approach, you know that that -2 means you're going to go down 2 and over 1 in both directions. I will do that, but I will also show you how easy it is to plug something in. For example, 0. 0 plus 1 is 1, and 1 squared is 1. And 1 times -2 is -2, and -2 plus 6 is 4. Now I'm going to plug in, or put the 4 in here, but I also want to point out 0, 4 is that point right there that we already did by simply taking a step down 2 and over 1. Now this -2, if I plug it in, it's a -2 plus 1, which is -1. Squared is now a +1, and we pick it up where we left off here. 1 times -2 is -2 plus 6 is 4. We should know that there's symmetry involved there, and that we would expect those to look the same if we write down the right number. Then lastly here we plug in a 1. 1 times plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times -2 is -8. And -8 plus 6 is -2. And the symmetry tells us that it'll be the same on the other side. So there's a point there. There's a point over 3. 1, 2, 3, and then down 2. And so if we connect the dots there, we're in business. But now over here, you know, you got a +0 on the outside, so think about that. Your vertex is at 1, 0, and then you're plugging in 0 and -1, or 2 and 3. And then over here, you got to keep in mind that an x squared by itself means you have a negative x, minus 0 squared, and then plus 4. So that -0 just means that your x value of your vertex is in fact 0. So 0, 4 is your vertex here. The negative, it means it's going to be flipped upside down, but you kind of apply everything else from that point. The 0, 4, you got -1, -2, +1, +2. Plug them in and solve just to make sure that we're on the right track here. Plug in a 1. 1 squared is 1. Change it to a negative after the fact. -1 plus 4 is 3. You get the same thing there. You plug in a 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative, well, with a negative, -4 plus 4 would be 0. And so the same little stair-step approach can be done here. Down 1 over 1, and then down 3 over 1. So the speed at which it decreases is increasing. So there you go.